for turning out. This is a beautiful crowd. This is a huge crowd. This is a powerful crowd with powerful voices. This is a peaceful rally. Thank you so much for coming out here. I see you gathered under the trees, getting some shade. This is a peaceful rally. If there are counter-protesters and you don't want to talk to them, you say, hey, don't bother me. We're gonna keep distance. We're not gonna engage. We're here to be in community with each other and peacefully let our voices be heard. And we're gonna remain peaceful. Thank you. I know some of you are mad as hell. I know some of you are sad. I know some of you are grieving. I know some of you came here today and actually you're pretty pumped up and joyous to be around this beautiful community of people. We're going to make space for all of that. We have so many wonderful speakers who are going to feel what you're putting out there and be together. Most importantly, you're going to leave with hope and you're going to leave with an action plan. We want you to speak up, be loud, donate to your local abortion providers, we want you to contact your legislators, and we want you to vote. I'm Devin Quinn from the New Hampshire Women's Foundation. This is my friend Allie Long, who helped us put this together. Allie did so much work, and she is an 18-year-old senior at Dover High School. You'll see her today, you'll see her again. I can't wait to see what she does next. You're going to get a full intro on her later, and she's speaking. But first, she has some announcements for you.
Hi, everyone. So I just have a few quick announcements. We want to make sure you're aware that we have hand sanitizer and masks available.
Are beautiful. I know it's a real hardship to show up on a summer-like day on the Piscataqua River, but I really appreciate all of you coming out. As Devin said, I'm Tana Clues. I'm the CEO of the New Hampshire Women's Foundation. And if you're not familiar, the Women's Foundation invests in opportunity and equality for women and girls in New Hampshire. We have 4 areas of work: research, education, philanthropy, and grant making. I want to take a moment and say some thanks. We're able to be here in a peaceful rally and protest thanks to the city of Portsmouth. So I want to give a huge shout out to our police department, our Department of Public Works, and City Manager Karen Kennard. I also want to give a special shout out to a number of people without whom we would not be here. Liz Canada from Planned Parenthood and my colleague Devin Quinn, as well as Sarah Prashino from Planned Parenthood. So again, thanks to you, incredible women, for putting this together. So it's been quite a week and a half, hasn't it? It's kind of felt like shit, hasn't it? Yeah. So we know what's happened nationally. I think most of you had the same feeling I had, where your stomach dropped out from underneath you when you got maybe your phone lit up with the Politico announcement about the leaked draft from our favorite people in the Supreme Court. But you know, here's the thing. It's not as if things have been perfect in New Hampshire, right? Women have been taking hit after hit in the last few years here in New Hampshire. We've seen our transgender siblings take on hit after hit, where we're having to stand up for them and again and say, they matter, their rights matter, they are us, we are them. We've seen, again, the abortion ban that our legislature and our governor signed into law last year, the most restrictive in the history of New Hampshire, where suddenly we're seeing that women are required to have an ultrasound for any abortion, and abortion illegal after 24 weeks. And it's thanks to our partners and allies like Planned Parenthood, the Joan Lovering Center, the Women's Foundation, the ACLU, that we were able to roll back that ultrasound requirement. The Women's Foundation is a proud pro-choice organization. And I want to spend a few minutes telling you exactly why we are a pro-choice organization. When women lose the opportunity, and those individuals who can become pregnant lose the opportunity to have control over their bodies, they lose their power. They lose their opportunity to make the choices they need to make for their families, for their future, for their daughters, for their community. So when we talk about limiting women's access to reproductive health care, and for those individuals who can become pregnant, what we're essentially saying is someone else has control over your body. And the Women's Foundation will not stand for that. And we are so happy to be able to provide support for this rally, but more importantly, as the Women's Foundation, we are able to provide research, education, and I would say one of the most important things, dollars, to those organizations who are providing the healthcare services and advocating on behalf of women and those individuals who can become pregnant. So you might be surprised to hear that one of the reasons why I'm up here is because I want to tell you that I bet each and every single one of you came here today with a wallet. Is that fair? Hopefully at least an ID in case you get arrested, but a wallet. Joan Lovering's here, Planned Parenthood is here, the Reproductive Freedom Fund is here. Before you leave today, take a minute and use your wallet to speak your values. Find Planned Parenthood, find Joan Lovering Center, find the Reproductive Freedom Fund, and donate. Because money is also power. And having the money necessary to provide the funds and to give voice to those who need it is essential. Today you're going to hear from a number of different people, but I want to give a special shout out to our elected officials who are here today and who are doing the hard work for fighting on our behalf. We have U.S. Senator Maggie Hassan, who's going to be here. We have New Hampshire Senators Rebecca Perkins Kwoka, Senator Tom Sherman, Representative Alexis Simpson, and we have our very own Assistant Mayor Joe Kelly, who's going to be speaking as well. When you leave here today, besides giving money to those organizations I just mentioned, right, I want you to make sure that you have at least 2 action steps. Not 1, 2. What are 2 things that you're going to do when you leave here today? Don't forget about them. If you come up with more, tell your friends and family. You can give them your extra action steps. Make them get to work. Again, I'm so happy that the Women's Foundation can be part of this event. I'm so happy that you've turned out today. And now I'm thrilled to turn things over to a superhero, Liz Canada, who is a queer step-parent to 2 incredible boys who ask the best questions, she says. She's also, and her side work, the advocacy manager at Planned Parenthood New Hampshire Action Fund. Liz.
Hi everyone. So I used to be a high school teacher, so I'm going to encourage those of you in the back, come on forward, it's okay, that's my job. Come on forward. I want to thank the New Hampshire Women's Foundation for pulling us together, especially Devin. Thank you for pulling us all together. Excellent. So my name's Liz. I'm with Planned Parenthood New Hampshire Action Fund. Friends, we are here today because we are in a crisis moment for abortion access in our country. The Supreme Court is taking away our power to control our personal decisions and instead is handing them over to state politicians. This is our worst fear coming true. Soon half the country, and we're talking about 26 states, will severely restrict or completely ban abortion. Now, I work for Planned Parenthood. Part of my job is educating and advocating folks about policy that impacts reproductive health care. And my wife works for Emily's List, and her job is also centered on reproductive rights and abortion. So we talk about abortion a lot in our household. And still, when the news broke that night, we both sat there in silence. We knew this was coming. We both do trainings in our respective organizations about what this would mean. And still, the weight of that news just completely pummeled us that night. The next morning, my older stepson saw me sitting in the kitchen, and he said, "Liz, what's wrong?" He knew immediately something catastrophic had happened. And so I told him what had happened. And after he asked a lot of great questions, and I did my best to answer them, he then asked me, "So, can anyone do anything?" And that's the question that brings us all here today. The Supreme Court is sending the decision of whether to protect or restrict abortion access back to state politicians. We've had a preview of what that looks like in Texas, where a 6-week ban has made abortion access nearly impossible since September. Here in New Hampshire, extreme politicians have waged an assault these last 2 years on our reproductive rights. They tried to pass a bill that would allow any man to use the courts to stop someone from having an abortion. They tried to allow anyone working in a pharmacy to stop us from getting birth control. They tried to pass a 6-week abortion ban. And they tried all of this in part because last year, these same extreme lawmakers snuck an abortion ban and mandatory ultrasounds into the state budget, and Governor Sununu signed it into law. They were emboldened by their unprecedented success. And we know they are going to keep trying to strip away our rights. But we won't let them. Granite staters like you are standing up and fighting back. These extreme lawmakers do not represent the majority of us, of our state, of our values. We want to preserve, protect, and expand abortion access in New Hampshire. Now I'm going to tell you this. We are waiting for a bill to go to Governor Sununu's desk right now. This is a bill that would get rid of New Hampshire's patient safety zone law. And I need to tell you, no one should face harassment or threats when they're accessing health care. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do, because this is a bad bill heading to Governor Sununu's desk. We need you to call Governor Sununu. If y'all take out your phones, I'll give you his phone number, 603-271-2121. I will say it again, because I know how hard it is to get your contacts open. 603-271-2121. Call Governor Sununu and tell him to veto House Bill 1625. So I'll leave you with this, because you've got a lot of great speakers coming. No matter the final Supreme Court decision, abortion will remain safe and legal up until 24 weeks in New Hampshire. And providers like Planned Parenthood of Northern New England, Equality Health Center, and Lovering Health Center, are here to help patients access safe, legal abortion care no matter what. But friends, elections matter. And we need to make sure that in November, we send people to the State House who represent us and our values. So, to answer my stepson's question, can anyone do anything? Yes, we can, together. There is a fantastic lineup of speakers coming up to talk to you today, and they are going to inspire us all to action. Let's get to work. Thank you for being in this fight with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. I want to remind everyone that we have some tables set up from awesome orgs. We also have a kids table up here with bubbles, snacks, coloring books. Come check it out, very family friendly. Next, I want to introduce a very important person here today, Michelle Silly Foisey. Michelle is an abortion storyteller from Temple, New Hampshire. She's a physical therapist with 7 kids, and I want you to give her a very, very warm welcome as she comes here to tell you her abortion story. There's a lot more people here than you can tell from over there. We know 1 in 4 women will have an abortion by age 45. While that statistic does not capture all people who may need abortion care, it does mean that in all likelihood, someone you know or love has had an abortion. Some of you may have heard my daughter Kayla's story before. Somehow every time I tell the story, it doesn't get any easier to tell. But it's not because I lost her after choosing to have an abortion. It's because I miss her so much that it hurts every day and every moment that goes by. Some of us that have experienced having an abortion have made the decision because our child never had a chance to live outside of our bodies. Kayla had 3 chambers to her heart, and to put it simply, no brain. Her father and I were forced to make an impossible decision within just a few hours of learning of her fatal anomalies. At the time, 16 years ago, the physicians that would perform an abortion later in pregnancy had a limit of 22 weeks in New Hampshire. Not because there was a law against it, but because of their own practice. Kayla's measurements at a routine ultrasound placed her at 22 weeks along because of the fluid in her head. The incredible pressure to make our decision was unbearable, but knowing I would be close to home if we made our decision hastily, we decided the same afternoon we heard the horrible news. As a mother, I knew there was no way I could continue to carry Kayla, knowing that any time she was going to die. Knowing that my little girl, who was 2.5 at the time, and is standing over there, would only grow closer to her soon-to-be sister. Going to work every day and having people congratulating me, asking details about when my baby was due and what gender we were expecting, all the while knowing we were just waiting for Kayla to die. On December 10th, 2005, after several hours of labor, though she had already passed, we held Kayla for several hours. She was 12 inches long and weighed 14 ounces. Her fingers and toes were perfect, and her hands and feet were imprinted and hang on my wall today. A month after her delivery, we found out that Kayla had a large missing piece to her 15th chromosome that had caused her body to be incomplete. Up until a recent amendment passed by the Senate, we would never have had the opportunity to wait for those results to make our decision due to the abortion restrictions added into the New Hampshire state laws on January 1st of this year. Up until last week, I would tell people that I felt safe with that I had a medical termination because of Kayla's body not being able to survive outside of mine. I now say I had an abortion, and it was the right decision for myself and my family. Every person that has an abortion should feel safe and comfortable to tell their story. Every person has their own reasons, and that is their right as a human being to have autonomy over their own body. Starting this February, I began to tell my story to the legislators at the State House. I set out to get my voice heard to change some minds. I would have loved if Kelly, Lisa, and I were able to make the representatives and senators change their minds about more than just adding an exception for fatal fetal anomalies to the new law in New Hampshire. But I have to say that having them listen to our stories and getting the response we did says a lot. Voices are powerful. And we need to use them at this moment and for the next few months until we, together, can make the Supreme Court and our government hear our voices.
My daughter Kayla does not have the body to support her to be with us here today, but she sure does have the spirit. It is her spirit that helps me to speak up. Whether you are here to speak up for yourself, your daughter, your granddaughter, a friend, your partner, we all have some reason to stand behind our right to choose. No person should ever be forced to carry a pregnancy to term. Our bodies are our own, and nobody has the right to take that away. If you are here because you stand with us and feel the same as we do, then rise up. Raise your voice. Stand up for all of us, especially those that are sharing their stories with you. Whether they speak loudly or gently, because we all deserve to determine what is healthy for our bodies and the destiny of our lives. If you are here because you are not sure how you feel about abortion, and you want to learn more and you have a desire to understand, feel free to come and talk to me or any one of us. And thank you for being here to try to understand what we are saying, to listen, and to learn more. We promise we will never speak for your bodies. So please understand it is not okay for others to speak for ours. Ever. Thank you all for coming. Keep fighting with us.
Say with me, y'all, we won't go back. 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 We won't go back.
Hello. I want to introduce our next speaker. Sebastian Fuentes is a Latinx organizer, a North Country resident, a 2022 New Hampshire MLK Junior Award winner, and most importantly, a husband and a father of 2 beautiful daughters.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sebastian Fuentes, and I'm the Movement Politics Director for Rights and Democracy in New Hampshire. Thank you, Josie. I'm here in front of you today to talk to you as a husband of a beautiful woman and the father of 2 beautiful daughters. Now, I don't know how you're all feeling today. I don't know how you're doing today, but I'm one mad Latino man right now. Because we have politicians in this country trying for years and years to disrupt our lives. In New Hampshire, we have politicians telling us that our children cannot have a decent conversation about racism in the classrooms. We have politicians telling young students that their votes don't count. We have politicians in Concord telling us that COVID-19 never happened. And now we have politicians in Washington and Concord telling us that our women don't have a right to choose in their bodies. They are messing with the future of people in this country. And to me personally, they're messing with the future of my daughters. And to them, I'm here telling them enough is enough. So I see a lot of fellas here, a lot of men here today. Let me ask you something. In 10, 15, 20 years from now, what are you going to tell your daughters or your granddaughters? What were you doing in 2022 to change the course of action? Where were you? I know I'm going to tell them, I was here fighting for you, baby girl. And the fight continues. I'm right now fighting for somebody that I don't even know. At the same time, I want to apologize to a lot of women here because you guys for decades, years, been talking and raising concerns about Roe v. Wade, and we laugh at you. We ignore you. We thought that, you know what, that's never going to happen. Here we are today. So I'm here to ask you to fight that you never fought before. As a political organizer that I am right now, I set a goal for myself of knocking 1,000 doors all the way till November. I want to engage with people like you guys to make sure we take it to the polls and we elect people that represent us. All the way from the North Country, Keene, Portsmouth, Littleton, Laconia, everywhere around the state. But let me ask you, how many doors you're going to knock? There we go. All of them. How many difficult conversations you're going to have at the dinner table with your family? Because we need to do them now. How many neighbors you're going to engage? Because they need to hear you. You're here loud. They need to hear you as well. Because if we don't do anything right now, they're going to come after our transgender folks. If we don't do anything right now, they're going to come out for our black and brown brothers and sisters. And you know they will, because they did it before. They're going to come out after same-sex marriage. I came from a country, I was born in Peru, almost 40 years ago, where abortion is not allowed. If you get raped, you have to have the child, because shame on you if you have an abortion. I come from a country where a lot of rights are non-existent. As a matter of fact, 6 years ago, right across the street at the Strawberry Bank Museum, I said, you know what, I'm proud to be an American, I became a US citizen, and it's my time to organize and fight for people like you guys. Now, a secret that you guys don't know, but I think it's a fact, black and brown women are going to die faster if abortion is banned. That's a fact. They're already suffering inadequate healthcare access. 45% of all abortions around the world are unsafe. But out of those 45, 97% of them happening in South America, in continents like Africa. I came to this country to change the way I see things in my life. And me meeting people like all of you guys made me realize that this is the right path that I want to choose. So this is my first week at this job that I just took over. I was a hospitality manager for 21 years. And about a week ago, I decided to chat with my wife and say, hey, right now is the right time to do things. And I decided to leave that life and get to organizing. So I'm asking you, please run for office, donate to amazing organizations like the ones we have right here, talk to your family and members, and please, enough is enough. I see my wife right there, my baby daughter right there, she's 9 months old. Baby girl, daddy has a lot of work to do, and we're gonna start right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. All right, I want to remind everyone that we have bathrooms back up there, and we've got water bottles up here. Next, I want to introduce to you 3 folks who are fighting every day for our rights up in Concord. We have 2 state senators and a representative, and they are our champions. First, we have Senator Tom Sherman. Dr. Tom Sherman, state senator from Rye, representing Senate District 24, is the only doctor in the state Senate, and he's also running for governor in 2022. After him, we're going to hear from Portsmouth, Senator Rebecca Perkins Kwoka, who is the senator representing District 21. She previously served 4 years on the Portsmouth City Council. And then you're going to hear from Representative Alexis Simpson, who represents the towns of Exeter, Stratham, Newfields, and Market. You've got a friend in Alexis. She's also an ordained clergywoman in the United Church of Christ. This is our team. Thank you.
Good morning, Portsmouth. What a great crowd. I'm a doctor. I've sat with patients while they've had to make really difficult decisions, and I know there's no place for the government to get between a patient and their doctor. In the live free or die state, we stay out of people's bedrooms and we stay out of people's doctor's offices. And I refuse to let New Hampshire move backwards. Last year, Sununu signed into law New Hampshire's first abortion ban in modern history. He bragged about it on the radio earlier this week. That law he signed took away choices from women dealing with fatal fetal anomalies. And thank you, Michelle, for your bravery. It took away choices from survivors of rape and incest. It criminalized doctors trying to help their patients. It's absolutely shameful that he would actually brag about it. And just last week, Sununu said he might well sign additional restrictions into law. That's not New Hampshire, and that's not the Granite State I know. Now more than ever, we need to elect leaders who will stand up and fight for women's rights. I'm running for governor because the New Hampshire I believe in protects a woman's right to make medical decisions with her doctor, not with the state. It supports women's health by restoring funding for contraception and for cancer screenings. And it supports families by expanding access to affordable childcare and protecting our public schools. All of that is possible if our state has leadership that will actually bring people to the table and will actually work towards solutions. Across this country, we're seeing people's rights under attack. States are banning abortion access. They're considering banning contraceptive access. They're targeting our children, expressing themselves and loving who they love. We can't ever allow that to happen in New Hampshire. We can't let that be New Hampshire. We can be so much better than that here in the Granite State if we elect leaders up and down the ballot in November who will fight to protect our rights. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, everyone. I am up here with my daughter, Logan. Logan, can you say hi?
Hi.
And Logan and I were just standing over here off to the side, and we were talking about why we're here today, and more importantly, why we can't be at a playground. And I said to Logan, well, we're here today because we need to stand up and protect women's rights. And she said, why? And I said, well, because there are people out there who are trying to take away women's rights. And she said, why? And I said, because they think that women won't take care of their bodies and take care of their babies and make the best personal choice for themselves. Logan, do you think that women won't take care of their bodies and their babies?
No.
She said no. So, it just brings home to me the fact that we're here fighting this fight that our grandmothers have fought, that our mothers have fought, that we're here fighting, and I sure as heck hope that my two daughters will not be fighting. In our household, it's me and my wife and our two little girls. So we happen to be a household of 4 women. And we are going to leave it all on the field in 2022, protecting women's rights. That's why last week on May 5th, 2 days after the leaked Supreme Court decision came out, I was on the floor of the New Hampshire Senate bringing a bill to codify Roe v. Wade in New Hampshire. I did that for you guys. I did it for all pregnant people. I did it for my daughters. I did it for my wife. I did it for my friends who have experienced pregnancy trauma, who have had to make hard decisions, who have the right to make those decisions, and who are in the best position to make those decisions with their doctor. Our effort in the state Senate last week failed by 1 vote. It failed by 1 vote.
We need people in office who are going to protect women's rights. We need you guys to help us get them there. We all need to fight as hard as we can in 2022 to make sure those people representing us really do protect a woman's right to choose and they don't just say it. I'm so excited to be here with all you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to Representative Alexis Simpson. Thank you.
Good morning. It is so good to be with you today. It's good for us to show our political power. It's also good for us to come together and to support one another, to continue to show people across New Hampshire that we care about each other, we care about everyone in this state, and we are community here for each and every one. Before I talk about the State House, I'm going to take a minute to talk as a person of faith. The opposition to reproductive justice and abortion rights would like us to believe that religious people support abortion bans. I'd like to say that that is untrue. The majority of religious people support Roe. Our houses of worship are full of real people who need access to reproductive care in the same way that everyone across the country does. Too often, a minority of religious folks in this country have shamed people who have chosen or needed an abortion. This has caused spiritual harm to too many people. In addition to all the practical, social, and economic impacts of losing abortion access, I fear that overturning Roe v. Wade will perpetuate the stigma, the spiritual harm, and the injustice that is so rampant in this country around abortion. Make no mistake, stripping people of their reproductive rights is a violation of basic freedom, of bodily autonomy, and even of religious liberty. We need to continue to advocate for the full spectrum of reproductive care available to everyone so that all Granite Staters can thrive. We are not there right now. Liz has told you about the terrible legislation that members of the House have submitted this past session. We barely have the votes to keep regressive policies at bay and cling to the rights that we have now. We cannot afford to lose any more ground. We need to fight to protect and then expand our rights. To do this, we need to win a pro-choice majority in the House this November. We need you to go to the polls, and we need you to talk to everyone you see between now and November 8th to get them to the polls. We need to elect people who will support abortion rights. We need to elect people up and down the ticket who will work and fight for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You just heard from our amazing senators and representatives fighting for you in the State House. Now, I am so thrilled, I am so pumped to introduce someone who is fighting for you in the state Senate. Then she was fighting for you in the governor's office. Now she's fighting for you in the U.S. Senate. The second woman to be elected a governor and a U.S. Senator. She just voted to codify Roe in the Senate in Washington. She's got your back. She's got mine. Maggie Hassan.
Well, good morning, everybody. What a great crowd. Thank you, Devin, for the introduction. Thank you all for standing here today, for being out today to stand for freedom, right? What we saw 10 days ago now with the Alito draft opinion was a direct assault on a woman's freedom. For the first time in my memory, the Supreme Court of the United States decided to take rights away from half of our population. This is about whether women have the right to make their own health decisions, to plan their own families, to plan their futures. And what the Alito opinion did was make it very clear that a radical group of Supreme Court justices want to take that away. Well, we are not going to let them do that, right? Now, as you've heard from other speakers, and it's been so great to hear from my colleagues in the State Senate and the House, I am so grateful to Michelle for sharing her story and reminding us about why these decisions rest with a woman and her family and her healthcare providers, why we should be trusted to make our own decisions. That's so critical to being a full and equal citizen in a democracy. But here's the other thing. Elections have consequences. Now, you all know I'm on the ballot in November. My colleagues you just heard from are on the ballot in November. We need to make sure that we elect people who respect a woman's right to make her own decisions. We need to elect people who respect a woman's capacity to make her own decisions. And right now, my opponents all tell us that they support the Alito draft opinion. One of them, Chuck Morse, was the architect of the abortion ban that they snuck into the state budget last June. You've heard about that today. Another one of them said that the state's abortion ban doesn't go far enough. And Kevin Smith says he wants to end abortion once and for all. That's who's running against me. And let me tell you that any of the Republicans, if they get elected, they will be joining Mitch McConnell. And McConnell and the Republicans in the United States Senate have made clear that if they retake the majority, they want to ban abortion throughout the country. That's what's at stake. And all of my opponents in this race would be a yes vote for that Mitch McConnell agenda. So we need you all to mobilize. We need you all to share your stories. We need you all to ask your friends and neighbors, are you voting this fall? Do you know who's on the ballot? Make sure that people are working, are talking to each other, and are turning out to vote. At the end of the day, this is about our freedom. And in the live free or die state, we mean it. So mean it, vote, organize. And thank you all so much for being here this morning.
Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is essential. 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 Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is essential.
Hey, you just heard from some amazing women in office. Hey, do you all know any other badass women? Any badass women around you? Are you a badass woman yourself? You know your sisters, your daughters, your friends, your neighbors. Shouldn't those women be running for office too? That's right. We need more women running for office, and we need you to ask them. It turns out that more often men are more likely to see themselves as candidates, and women need to be asked to run sometimes. And sometimes we gotta ask them. We gotta ask those badass women, we gotta ask our sisters, our friends, our neighbors, will you run? You'll be surprised.
There are so many wonderful women out there. I want you to go out and ask them, what about you? Should you be running? The New Hampshire Women's Foundation has a program called Women Run. It's the only nonpartisan program encouraging and training women to run for office, and we want you to get involved. If you want to support women running, if you want to encourage women to run, if you're thinking about running, want to see what it's all about, if you're ready to run, join one of our events. We have flyers we're going to be passing around. We have 3 events in the next 2 weeks, and we want to see you there. I got it. Next up, I am so excited to introduce to you the first abortion provider you're going to hear from today. Sandy Denoncourt is the executive director of the Joan G. Lovering Health Center in Greenland. Sandy's a nurse with a long history working in community health and is a parent by choice. This is your local abortion provider. Please give it up for Sandy Denoncourt.
Hi everybody, good morning. Thanks so much for being here. I gotta tell you, it looks great from up here. Thank you for being here. I'm with my people. Love it. So I just want to know from you, how many of you know the Lovering? Okay, so that's not nearly enough of you. So I really want to tell you a little bit about who we are. So the Lovering Health Center, we're in Greenland, and we were established, and we are named to honor a woman who is an incredible activist who brought health care to the seacoast and abortion care to the seacoast in the 1980s. Her name was Joan G. Lovering. Thank you. People in the back are saying they can't hear me. I hope you can hear me. So I want to tell you that we are the only independent abortion clinic in the seacoast of New Hampshire. And in Joan G. Lovering's honor and in her name, we've been providing abortion care on the seacoast for 41 years. We continue to do that without apology and without hesitation, and we are not going anywhere. So abortion care is work that we choose because we believe it honors the right of every person to make decisions about their bodies, their future, and their families. We could not do this work now or ever without you. So thank you for taking action. Your action is critical, particularly now, because the threats to our work and to choice in New Hampshire are real. Last summer, our contract for state family planning funding was cut off by the vote of 4 of the 5 executive councilors currently elected. Exactly. And it was cut off to us and all of the other abortion providers in the state because we unapologetically provide abortion care to you, to your neighbors, and to our communities. So the loss of 20% of our funding at the Lovering has been incredibly difficult for us to manage. But we believe access to contraception is essential health care. Access to abortion is essential health care if you believe in the right of New Hampshire citizens to make their own health care decisions. Denying funding reduces access, and it denies citizens the right to act on their decisions, and it is unacceptable. We can use our collective voices, our money, our power, and especially our votes to remove access barriers and protect access to all options for all people. The realization of that vision, we know, is still ahead of us due to the intersections of racism, classism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia, and the unwillingness of some in power to protect access for others. But we will do that work with you. We believe in that vision, and we are not backing down. We know that the only way, and you've heard it multiple times today, as someone in the work every day, I will tell you it is 100% true, that the only way to change the restrictive path that we are on is by voting. We know that the majority of New Hampshire citizens believe in protecting choice. We know that many of the New Hampshire federal and state delegation members are strong pro-choice and reproductive justice advocates. We must vote, vote, and vote, locally and federally, to put more folks in office with them who will protect our rights to bodily and reproductive autonomy. Thank you for being here, and thanks for what you're doing today and always.
Next up, someone you had a teaser for before, Allie Long. She's a senior at Dover High School. She's the class president. She's about to graduate. She's been leading the students in her school and her community on mental health, on student mental health. She is so involved. She is so inspiring. I can't wait to see what she does next. Give it up for Allie Long.
Can everyone hear me okay in the back? Yeah? All right. Hello, beautiful people. I am so happy to be surrounded by all of you that are motivated and ready to take action for your rights, because reproductive rights are human rights. I want to call on the youth that's here today. We've grown up in the age of having the world's opinion at our fingertips through social media, news, and other digital platforms. In many ways, this environment has created a generation of activists and leaders. And today, I call on those same activists and leaders to keep the ball rolling for reproductive rights, to keep that momentum going that so many women before us have fought for, have dedicated their lives to, for the sake of every single one of us here today. Here's what you can do to be a part of that momentum. Raise your voice. Don't sit in silence. Whether that's in your own homes, whether that's in your workplace, we will not be silent about this issue. Support each other. Support women and those that empower women and everyone that is for equality. Educate. Educate yourself, educate your neighbors, educate each other. Join the conversation. Get involved with one of the many local groups. There's many here today, and the list is growing only in New Hampshire. So get involved and join that conversation. Donate, 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 donate. You've heard a lot about donating already, but it makes a big difference, and your dollars matter. Vote. Vote for who you want to see in office representing you. For those of you that are 18 or almost 18, now is your time. Make sure that the right things go all the way to Washington. By engaging in these acts in big or small ways, you're doing right by the many activists that have laid the foundation of our freedoms. No one is too young to create change and stand up for what they believe in. I have 2 words for you today to leave you with, and that is, you can. Thank you.
Abortion is our right. We won't give up the fight. Abortion is our right. We won't give up the fight. Abortion is our right. We won't give up the fight. Abortion is our right. We won't give up the fight. Abortion is our right. We won't give up the fight. Abortion is our right. We won't give up the fight.
Next up, I'm excited to introduce to you Henry Kolandowitz, who's a senior staff attorney at the ACLU of New Hampshire, where he works on protecting civil rights and civil liberties at the State House and in the court.
Hi everyone. Last week's leaked opinion confirms our deepest fears that the Supreme Court is about to take away abortion access across the country, and we're already seeing the devastation play out in Texas and in the half the states in the country that have trigger laws. We know that women of color, people of color, are most impacted by high maternal mortality rates, and that's only going to get worse when we take away people's rights to make their own decisions and when we start requiring people to carry pregnancies against their will. If the Supreme Court does issue a ruling along the lines of the leaked opinion that we saw, it would be unprecedented. Never before have we seen the Supreme Court take away a constitutional right, and now is not a good time to start. But not only that, make no mistake, it doesn't end with your right to control your reproductive choices. All of life's most sacred and intimate details, who you love, who you sleep with, what your family looks like, do you want to have kids, who you want to marry, all of that is on the line. We've heard people talking about repealing the rights to contraception. We've heard people talk about repealing marriage equality. All of this is on the line. This is just one more chance that we've seen of people trying to rewrite outdated gender norms into our society. But we won't stand for it. No matter what happens, we're going to continue to fight like hell, and the ACLU will always be here, standing up for people to make the choices of their own bodies. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Julie Jenkins, who is a sexual and reproductive health nurse practitioner and former lead plaintiff in ACLU litigation challenging Maine's physician-only abortion law. Julie currently works for Choice, a telehealth company providing medication abortion and contraception, and also as a clinician consultant for the National Abortion Federation. Give it up for an abortion provider.
Hello. It's nice to see all these fabulous faces out here today. It fills me with joy. My name is Julie Jenkins, and I'm a nurse practitioner who from 2014 to 2021 provided care to rural Mainers as a nurse practitioner with Maine Family Planning. Now I work for a telehealth organization where I provide medication abortion. But we can't provide care here in New Hampshire because of the recent ultrasound mandate. In New Hampshire, the ultrasound mandate and the 24-week abortion ban severely restrict where and when patients can obtain an abortion. Medication abortion can be safely provided by telehealth in early pregnancy, but the ultrasound mandate makes that impossible. And patients may have to needlessly travel for hours and pay for transportation, childcare, and time off from work that many low-income people simply cannot afford, rather than getting care in their own communities, often forcing them to delay that care. There is no justification for keeping patients from receiving evidence-based care that has been proven in study after study to be safe and effective. As abortion providers, my colleagues and I see every kind of patient from all walks of life. Every patient has a story, and everyone's story is valid. People who have abortions deserve our love and support, not our judgment. In this crowd, in this sea of faces and bodies, there are many, many people who have had abortions. And I want to say that you are loved and that you matter. In Maine, over the past few years, abortion access has actually been further secured and expanded by the legislature. Here in New Hampshire, folks have worked tirelessly to undo the harm caused by recent abortion restrictions. And we should be proud of that work. The rights that we have won were hard fought. You know, many of you have been right there with us the whole time. But we also can't allow our victories to make us feel safe. We've seen the leaked Supreme Court draft. We know what the fate of Roe will be and what that will mean for the states that will ban abortion because of it. I've had a lot of conversations recently with folks focusing on the safety of the Northeast and the West Coast, but it is dangerous to believe that what will happen to much of our country can't also happen here. We cannot afford complacency. This work has been a part of my life for as long as I care to remember, and I'm certain about one thing. We have got to get more comfortable with talking about abortion, telling our stories, talking with each other, talking with our elected officials, and making them talk about and say the word abortion. We need storytellers. Legislators need to hear from you. When we all work together to destigmatize and humanize this common experience, we can shift the conversation and we can change minds. And lastly, please support abortion funds. The Reproductive Freedom Fund of New Hampshire is here today working to change this whole landscape. Abortion access is a community responsibility. You're here, you're part of the struggle. The struggle is real, and I appreciate you all.
I'm ready here with my applesauce because we've got two very special people coming up on the stage. I want to introduce to you Allison Potter and her daughter. Allison is going to share with you her abortion story. She's a board member on the New Hampshire Women's Foundation, and please give her a very joyous, warm welcome.
So, hi, my name is Allison. As Devin said, I'm a member of the New Hampshire Women's Foundation. As a board member, I have the privilege of hearing and learning about our grantees at our board meetings. At a recent meeting, we had a representative from the Equity Health Center join us to tell us about the work they're doing. A video was shared about what it's like for people looking for services to enter the center. We were warned that if the subject of abortion or pregnancy loss was triggering for anyone, that we were welcome to excuse ourselves from this portion of the meeting. This is triggering for me, but I felt I owed it to those that experienced this injustice I knew I would witness to stay present for that viewing. It wasn't easy to watch this video. Seeing this woman harassed on her way into the center was heartbreaking. When the video ended, the representative from Equity Health Center let us know that the woman in the video seeking treatment for a miscarriage for a desired pregnancy. She told us that when the woman entered the doors after experiencing that harassment, she collapsed on the floor and sobbed for half an hour. I broke when I heard this. I know that pain all too well, and it is hollowing. I am the proud mother of two beautiful children, my son Liam and my daughter Rebecca here. But our fertility journey was not an easy one. On the pregnancy apps that tell you what fruit your child is the size of every week, my son's name was 3 times the charm, and my daughter here was lucky number 7. None of my miscarriages expelled on their own, and thus all required a D&C to remove the pregnancy from my body. I'm so thankful for the friends that I've had that have supported me through my journey, but it's those that have experienced the same misfortune that can truly empathize. I didn't know that until I experienced it for myself. I now have a thing I say to friends who've had a miscarriage, which is 1 out of 4 pregnancies, by the way. It's welcome to the club that no one wants to be a part of. Every time I've said that to a friend, they say, "Oh God, yes, that's it, Allison." It's a truly hollowing experience, and my heart breaks for anyone that experiences it, whether I know them or not, like the woman in that video. My 6th pregnancy was an ectopic. I went in for a dating ultrasound and saw my uterus was empty. The plan was for me to have some blood work done and come back the following morning for the meso. I am so thankful I had that doctor's appointment that day, so that when I ruptured later that evening, I knew not to ignore the pain and that I needed to get to the ER immediately. I had internal bleeding as a result of the rupture and needed emergency surgery to remove the pregnancy and with it my fallopian tube. I left the women and children's floor at the hospital where I received my pre and post-op care, not with a baby in my arms, but with 3 holes in my stomach. I am so thankful that this happened to me, in a state and during a time when there wasn't a question as to what needed to be done. Abortion is health care, and it saved my life, and it's the reason my daughter is here today. There are bills in other states right now that make no exceptions for ectopics and require mothers to prove they didn't cause their miscarriages. This is inhumane and certainly not pro-life. We cannot let that happen here in New Hampshire. These are traumatic experiences and should be treated as such. It infuriates me that I have to share these deeply personal experiences with a crowd of mostly strangers today. I should not have to share this story to justify why abortion is health care and why it should be legal now and forever. The want or need to have an abortion is a conversation that happened privately between a person and their doctor. It doesn't matter if it was a wanted pregnancy or not, if it was a traumatic experience or not. The decision about what someone does with their body is their decision alone. My body, my choice. Thank you for listening to my story today.
My body, my choice. 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 My body, my choice.
Woo! Next up, as you can see below, we have Josie Pinto, the one and only. Josie has been organizing around reproductive justice for over 8 years. She's the founder and the executive director of the Reproductive Freedom Fund of New Hampshire, an organization that provides financial and other forms of support to anyone in need of abortion services. She's also a full-spectrum doula. Give it up for Josie!
Hey everyone, my name is Josie Pinto. As they said, I'm a co-founder and executive director of the Reproductive Freedom Fund of New Hampshire. We're a fund that fully covers the cost of abortion for patients in need. We provide patient rides and other forms of support, and we work to educate our community on reproductive health and justice. We're connected with a strong national network, the National Network of Abortion Funds, which is made up of over 80 other funds, making sure that no matter what happens with Roe, we will still be able to help people get an abortion. Woo! Right? So I know you're all here because last Monday we found out through a leaked SCOTUS report that the majority of the court is in favor of overturning Roe. For most people in this country, that news came as a shock, but for abortion funds and reproductive justice advocates, it confirmed what we've known for a long time has been coming. Luckily, Black women in the South that started the National Network of Abortion Funds knew this moment would eventually come, and we've been preparing for it. It is the wisdom and leadership of Black women that have ensured that we will be able to meet everyone's needs no matter what. An important part of reproductive justice is that we don't look at abortion access in a silo, but rather the ways in which all issues connect and impact all of our abilities to live our lives safely, to speak freely, and to have our needs met. To quote my favorite leader and one of the founders of reproductive justice, Loretta Ross, the reproductive justice framework is defined by coalition politics and cannot achieve its human rights goals without building coalition. So the time is now to come together across all movements. The racial justice movement, the climate justice movement, the labor justice movement, the healthcare justice movement. We must all stand together as one movement and refuse attacks on any of us, because they're attacks on all of us. It won't stop at abortion. They're coming for trans folks, for contraception access, for interracial marriage. There is so much on the line right now. So when the Supreme Court fails us, it's critical that we step up as a community to meet each other's needs. So the Reproductive Freedom Fund of New Hampshire will be here to support every single patient in need of our support, and will continue to do everything we can to fight back against attacks on our rights. But we can only do that if we have the support of our community. So I urge you all to consider becoming a monthly donor with our fund so we can continue to meet the need. Volunteer with us, help us get patients to their appointments, and help spread the word about our work. You never know when someone you know might need us as a resource. But we do know that everyone loves someone who's had an abortion. So my friend Bree over there is going to go around handing out cards with our hotline number and a link to donate. I hope you support us if you can and save our number for when someone you know needs us. Thank you all for showing up in this moment, and please keep showing up even when the news stops talking about what's happening. Awesome. All right, I'm going to end with a chant. Some of y'all might know this. It's from Assata Shakur, so call in response after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Thank you all.
Together we rise, divided we fall. Together we rise, divided we fall. Together we rise, divided we fall. Let's hear it! Louder! Together we rise, divided we fall. Together we rise, divided we fall. Let's go! Together we rise, divided we fall. Together we rise, divided we fall. Who sent us? Ruth sent us. 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 Woo!
Woo! Folks, we have 2 more speakers for you here. We're running a little early, so they're not here yet. When, DJ Scooch is going to play us some sick beats. That's what you're here for. I knew it. But our 2 last speakers are Joe Kelly, the Assistant Mayor of Portsmouth. I'm so excited for you to hear from her. And another personal story from Camilla. It's so important you stay for her story. So in the meantime, we're going to hang out. We're going to be in community. You're going to meet each other. You're going to dance if you want to. You're going to check out the tables. We have newsletters we want you to sign up for. We've got events we want you to sign up for. We have places where you can make donations from your phone. Be together, act together. We'll let you know when our speakers come, but enjoy the music and hang out. It is so amazing that you're here. Give it up for DJ Scooch. She's your local community feminist DJ. I know you came for DJ Scooch. I know you're going to stick around for DJ Scooch. All right, you came here. We heard our voices. We're going to wrap this up now with our speaking program. Again, this is a peaceful rally. Thank you for being positive, for being peaceful, for being generous. I want to thank so many people, all the speakers. I want to thank all of the organizations who came out here. I want to thank Dow. I want to thank Allie. I want to thank Crystal, Liz, Sarah, Alyssa, Fiona, and Lily. People who put this on for all of us. We learned a lot today, and we were given actions. We can donate. We can sign up for events. Sign up to get on newsletters so you can find out what's going on. Contact your legislators. Run for office. Tell others to run for office and vote. Camilla is here! Oh my God, saved by the bell! I'm so glad you're going to hear from Camilla Thompson, who is going to tell you an amazing story today. Camilla is part of Lives Matter Seacoast.
And I want to give her such a warm, warm welcome. Camilla's our last speaker. She has a lot of good stuff to say. And then DJ Scooch will be on the DJ afterwards. You're welcome to stick around, check out the tables. Thank you, Camilla. Come on up.
Well, this is really tall. I apologize for being late. My littles had soccer and a tonsillectomy, so it's been a lot. No need to apologize. So I promise not to keep y'all long, I promise. So my name is Camilla. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I was born in Washington, D.C. and adopted, so this is home. I've grown up here in New Hampshire. I believe that I came into this world because of a woman's right to choose, and for many young women, this is a really difficult decision, whether you choose to terminate or whether you choose to go along with it, whether you choose to put your child up for adoption. I'm also part of the leadership team for BLM Seacoast. Black Lives Matter Seacoast wants to let you guys know that we fully support a woman's right for full abortion access. So the action of abortion has surrounded my life even before I became Earthside. My birth mother was dropped off by my birth father at the abortion clinic. He disappeared and she never heard from him again. She could not go through with her termination because she was too far along with me, so she decided to keep it a secret and put me up for adoption. Timing was everything for my birth mother, and she made the choice that was right for me and her at the time. Some would believe that because of the start of my existence was filled with such drama, sadness, and chaos, that my views on abortion would be different. However, when I found myself pregnant at 16, and even though I longed in my heart to create life that had a genetic connection to me, I knew that I was not ready to be a parent. As a mother of 2 young boys, I'm sure all moms in the audience can agree that no matter what age you are, parenting is hard. While I have so much respect for teenage moms, I shudder the thought of the fact that the kind of mom that I would have been at 16. 12 years ago, the topic of abortion was so hush-hush. It was almost like you went to the clinic, you had your procedure, and then you just went on with your life, which is almost the exact words I think my mom used for me when I was preparing to have my termination. In 2010, I went to the Lovering Health Center in Greenland and terminated my first pregnancy. And while the emotions I felt were normal, this was a choice I needed to make for not only myself and my future, but for the life that what could have been. So timing. In July of 2014, I found myself pregnant again. And while timing was not right then either, I found myself deciding to go through with this pregnancy. To my surprise, this life was just a sac with no heartbeat. And while I did not have to have an abortion per se, here I was again pregnant, trying to figure out how I was going to prepare for another procedure. This was not my time. This was painful, and I began to regret my choices of terminating my pregnancy a couple years prior. I truly believed that God was punishing me for giving away a life that He gave, because I wasn't on His timing. I suffered with this agonizing feeling for months, so no good deed goes unpunished. 8 months later, I found myself pregnant with my now 6-year-old, and while I made 2 appointments at the Lovering Health Center, this time was mine. Life has a funny way of coming full circle. Your choices are to be your own and timing and on your own timing, and no one has the right to interfere or weigh in on your choices, especially the government. At 16, I chose not to be a mother, and that decision was the best for me at the time, and it was for no one to try to stop. You have the right to live your life on your terms and with no regrets. Thank you, and I'm sorry for being so late.
Yeah!
afternoon, we heard the horrible news. As a mother, I knew there was no way I could continue to carry Kayla, knowing that any time she was going to die. Knowing that my little girl, who was 2.5 at the time, and is standing over there, would only grow closer to her soon-to-be sister. Going to work every day and having people congratulating me, asking details about when my baby was due.
You can hear me. So I want to tell you that we are the only independent abortion clinic in the Seacoast of New Hampshire. And in Joan G. Lovering's honor and in her name, we've been providing abortion care.
Together we rise, divided we fall.
Who sent us? Root sent us. Who sent us? Root sent us. Who sent us? Root sent us. Who sent us? Woo! I'm gonna walk all over